and one of the major determinants of economic growth in any developing country. Infrastructure, which is refers to the support structures that facilitate production of goods and services, distribution of finished product to the market, as also basic social services such as schools and hospitals. In a sense, infrastructure is a catalytic agent for any economy. India's average investment in infrastructure is around 5% of GDP during 1992 to 2010, compared to the poorly to an average of 7.3% across the China, Indonesia and Vietnam. India ranked 90 out of 144 countries as per the World Economic Forum Global Competency Report of 2014-15. In terms of infrastructure quality, with inadequate supply of infrastructure listed as one of the most problematic factors of doing business, as mentioned in one of the report of the RBI by that time former Deputy Governor. India's growth success has been driven by service producing industry, mostly those employing relatively skilled labor forces. The average share of the manufacturing value added in India's GDP remained low at 17.8% during the 11-13 as per the economic survey of 1450. International comparisons suggest that actual manufacturing sharing of GDP in India is lower than what is predicted, while the opposite in case of the China as per 2007 report. Globalization has compelled countries to enhance the growth. Several growth-oriented strategies that include trade openness, FDI inflows, and capital mobility, including technology transfer, have been adopted in a very big way. The argument which is usually given in favor of technology transfer is that the wheel that has already been adopted need not have to be rediscovered if countries seeking to be cost efficient. However, one important hypothesis in the context of sluggish employment growth in the industrial sector relate to the acquisition of capital-intensive technology imported from abroad. The import of the new technology, which primarily is a capital-intensive and skill-intensive, result in an increased demand for skilled workers and not for the less skilled ones. The forces driving in the global outlook and the associated risks pose a significant policy challenging in high-income countries as compared to the developing countries. The still fragile recovery calls for continued accommodative monetary policy and a flexible approach to the fiscal policy which supports growth, but it is also accompanied by the concrete medium-term consolidation plans and structural reforms. In developing countries, global financial tightening could reduce capital flow and trigger further currency depreciations. Though depreciations may be strengthened export and help front account adjustment, they could weaken balance sheet and dampen the disinflationary effect of the soft commodity prices. Some developing countries' central banks may thus have to weigh monetary policy measures to support the growth against those needed to stabilize inflation and currencies or boost the financial system stability. Fiscal stimulus can also be considered in the event of a sharp cyclical downturn. So in practice, however, the use and effectiveness of fiscal policy as a counter-cyclical policy tool may be constrained by the availability of the fiscal space. So both high-income and developing countries need to undertake comprehensive structural reforms, including improvement in institutions and public infrastructure in order to promote growth and job creation. I hope these structural policy changes and emerging global economic perspective will shape the positive outlook not only for India but also for all other emerging nations. We need to be more vigilant towards identifying and selecting the right course of action to drive the economy towards a concrete growth and consolidation path. This conference is covering empirical